Welcome back to another video. Have you ever thought about the way your mind works, how your thoughts are able to find themselves as a part of your reality, the way you think and the way you act, and this whole process of reality creation? Perhaps you're on this journey becoming more aware, raising your vibration, raising your level of consciousness, becoming aware that your mind is not what it seems. There seems to be a way to interface with our subconscious minds to actually create things and bring things down into our reality. Many call this the process of manifestation, but in this video, I'm going to give you basically my experience building massive abundance in my life in all aspects using this exact method. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. First of all, let's talk about your subconscious and conscious minds. Many of us are running on programming that was installed in us long ago. I mean, think about it. When I went to school, I was taught by a teacher, I was taught curriculum, the way the world works, supposedly, right? We went through all these different courses, 15, sometimes 20 years of education for many people. And only for many people to find that when you're out in the real world, it's not exactly how it works. So there must be something more to actually bring things into our reality. For example, do you ever have a friend, or do you know someone who seems to have luck fall into their lap all the time? Things just seem to work out for them. They're an overly positive, optimistic person, and as a result, actually really incredible things seem to happen for them. That's kind of unexplainable why, right? It all comes down to how we interface with our subconscious minds. You see, 90% of your mind's power is in your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is not actually in here. It's not as a part of your brain. And research has actually shown this time and again, that consciousness does not reside in the mind. It is received by the mind, right? So think of like the Google Cloud or Apple iCloud, right? You store all your information, all your pictures, your text messages, everything regarding that phone, that system on your phone, is stored in the cloud. Only a small percentage of your phone's operating system is running actually on your phone and making things happen on your phone. The vast majority of it is sending out signals and interfacing with this cloud that has all of your information. The subconscious mind works no different, and it's not a coincidence that we recreate these systems in our lives all the time through technology. So 90% of your subconscious is this, many refer to it as the superconscious, is a thought, it's a cloud of thought forms that any of us have access to when we tune our minds to the reality that we would like. So let's talk about that 10%, right? You have a 10% of your mind's power is within you. That is your conscious mind. And that is used as a sort of a command center. Many of us don't use it this way. We actually get programmed subconsciously, and the subconscious programming is what's running our lives. But the way the mind is supposed to work, the way people who consider themselves alchemists or reality shifters or reality transurfers, these are people who have learned to work with these laws, to work with the nature of the mind, to bring things into their physical reality. So I have 3 individuals here, and this is how you're going to do it. I'm going to get right into the technique here. The technique goes something like this. You have a certain vibratory frequency in your mind based on your thoughts and your emotions. Emotions usually come first, which then generate the thoughts. The emotion starts right here in the heart. And this 10% of emotion and thought is projected towards the subconscious, the collective subconscious. Carl Jung actually calls this the collective unconscious, right? So a conscious mind, and then the collective has an unconscious mind. A good example is, like, have you ever had a great idea for a business or a product, and then give it like a couple months or even a year, someone else comes out with this amazing idea, and you're like, oh my God, like, wow, like I thought of that and I didn't jump on it, I didn't act on it. We're gonna get to that in a second because that's actually an important part of this process. But that just comes to show that we all have access to the same information. And it's all about attuning our emotions and thoughts to that information that we would like to receive, or to that reality that we would like to interact with. So you have a person here who's thinking really positive emotions, who's thinking positive thoughts all the time, is able to transmute negative beliefs into positive ones, and they're projecting this high frequency out to the subconscious mind, right? Maybe they're obviously not doing it knowingly. They're just very positive and upbeat. Then you have a person here who is using their emotions and thought, projecting it to the subconscious cloud, but they are maybe, neutral with things. They're sort of have been programmed through life and are happy living their life that they've been programmed to live. They go to the same job every day. This could be you. And you're content. You don't think it's a bad thing, and you're not overly enthusiastic about it. You just kind of do what you got to do. Keep moving from home to work, from work to home, back and forth. You know what I mean. And we have a third person here who's extremely negative, who's projecting negative emotions. So think of like fear, doubt, pessimism. They're projecting these emotions to the cloud. And what's going to happen here is there's going to be effects generated. I've talked about this in another video. There's the causal plane where things are caused, and there's the plane of effects. So you are the center of cause and effect. You are the creator of your own reality. You have the ability to actually project out thoughts, to project out what we call thought forms, like pre-packaged software, and projecting it out in the subconscious cloud, and that will determine the results you get in your reality. For example, the job opportunities that you'll notice that come to you, the relevant people in your life that you're going to have close to you, the amount of money that you're able to make. Number 2 is the gateway to the mind. So how do we access the subconscious mind? How do we avoid having prepackaged software that's been built for us in the cloud that's running our lives? How do we flip that script and actually start designing our own thoughtware? Start designing our own way of thinking, our own subconscious programming. We want to get access to that 90%. And you can read ancient texts that are meant to be allegory, that are meant to be symbolic, that suggest that this type of consciousness, the subconscious mind, resides in the right hemisphere of the brain and can be accessed by individuals who are able to balance the energy within them, so to create an environment that allows for this to happen, which is mainly done through meditation. And in that stillness, that silence of meditation, a door opens up. This door is called your third eye. This is the pineal gland, which is a physical structure in the brain that actually interfaces with knowledge and information beyond space and time in the subconscious cloud. That kind of blew my mind. And when I first started getting into meditation, I was never a believer in meditation. I was a paramedic. I was working long shifts. I thought, I don't have time for this. This is not something I need to do, until my mental health actually took a nosedive. I started to burn out from work, and then later got diagnosed with PTSD. And the number one thing, it wasn't any medical drugs, it wasn't any of the therapy that I did, it wasn't the counseling that I did. The number one thing to this day that's helped me balance this sort of energy within me and also access this type of infinite expansive awareness is in meditation, and something I've taken up on a daily basis. And I've actually been enthusiastic enough about to create my own meditations, which I'll plug down below here. In doing this, you're going to create sort of a feedback loop. You're going to start to notice the signals that your mind is creating. Because your mind is like a radio receiver antenna. It's able to generate frequencies and project them up to this cloud. And it'll start with these signals. And these signals will generate chemical reactions in your brain. Endorphins will be released. Hormones get released. And these things start to affect your body. And of course, the way you behave, right? These things are capable of sending you into a crazy rage or a blissful joy, right? Based on the signals that you're giving out and receiving. And of course, they'll generate effects, like right up here. And then you're gonna have to, have actions and reactions based on that. So we can't skip the heart. That's an important part of the process, is in accessing the right hemisphere of the mind, in accessing the right side of the brain, you actually have to attune to your heart. This heart-mind connection, which is also called heart coherence, can be sharpened through meditation. And in doing that, you're going to start to become more connected with yourself. You're going to start to understand yourself better. Because maybe, I bet many of you have subconscious feelings, subconscious programming that's been bringing up emotions for you in your life and causing unnecessary chaos or throwing you off your path. Remember what emotion even means: energy in motion. So we can't skip the heart. That's a very important part of the process, and I'll definitely create more content on heart-mind coherence because it's an important topic. Okay, so how do we tune the receiver? This is a radio antenna, right? We got to tune it somehow and make sure we're tuning it like this gentleman here and not putting out negative frequencies or thought forms out towards this cloud. We're going to start by reshaping old pathways, and this could mean changing your environment, changing toxic relationships that you might be in, removing yourself from toxic workplace environments. These are not the easiest things to do, but you can't underemphasize the value of them. These have incredible value. And so in reshaping old pathways, you'll start to go through this feedback loop where you start generating positive signals, which will then create releases of positive chemicals in your brain and body, and that will generate effects, right? Your vibration will raise, your level of consciousness will rise. The last one here is super important, and this is a way of creating abundance, is through visualization, because your mind is incredibly powerful. And really, when you visualize correctly, the mind will not be able to differentiate between your physical reality and the imaginative reality that you've created in your mind. And there's a process of sort of projecting out the version of you that you wish to be. So think about that version of you that you wish to be. Many people wait to become something. You have your eye on something, and maybe you've been talking yourself out of it for a while. But you must understand, you have to start before you're ready. And the process of becoming something is by being it. Even if you may not be ready, may not have the skills for that new job just yet. You may not know where you're going to live if you leave this toxic relationship. You might not have all the answers. But in moving towards the version that you want to be, you do something really interesting. You start projecting these emotions and thought forms of that version that you are now, the new version of you. And what will happen is something so incredible. It's almost synchronistic. You'll start to feel like you're getting more synchronicities. Things are starting to line up for you in your life. And this subconscious cloud will begin to interface with this new level of vibration, generating effects of that version of you that you wish to be. It's really incredible because I think many of us, and I did for a long time, had it backwards, where we thought we had to work towards this version that we want to be. And that's completely incorrect. You must just start being that version of you. So if you want to be making 10K a month, you have to start thinking, what is that version of me going to be doing to be making 10K a month? And maybe that version of you is someone who gets up at 5:30 every morning and goes for a run to start their day. And when you start behaving in this way, your reality will begin to shift, because now you're actually living that new version of you. So this is the process of attuning to your mind, beginning to use your imagination, beginning to experiment with meditation and dealing with that shadow side, those negative limiting beliefs that will be pulling you down, and will not be letting you raise your vibration until you deal with some of those things. But in acting, making decisions towards that version of you, being like, I am that person now. I am the person making 10K a month. You will begin to, you'll go on this incredible spiritual journey that I call the hero's journey. And I wish you well on this journey. Check out the links down below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.